nothing like waking up and hearing the sound of construction blaring and just wrecking the neighborhood. I don't know what they're building.
Another day in New York City, huh?
Another day. I don't know. I legitimately don't know what they're building. It can't be good. It just can't be good. Legitimately, I always feel very hello everybody. This is episode 62 of The Lookout. I'm Meelz, and I'm here with the Platinum Shinoboy himself, Jeff.
Yes, we are here.
And yeah, I don't know what they're building. But I'm always suspicious of when they build stuff and then everything looks exactly the same all afterwards. I'm
you're like, what were you doing this whole time?
Maybe they're doing something like, oh, maybe, the piping was bad or eroded or something along those lines. I don't know. I just feel like the neighborhood should know. Sir, you are back from the woods.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in Atlanta.
Did you feel closer to nature on your trip?
Yeah, I did, man. I did. I saw some interesting things while I was gone. So, but it was cool, man. It was a nice experience,
And now you about to get back on the train. You about to be back at work. You about to be back.
Yeah.
You about to be back doing your thing.
Life.
So many different things. You know what? Let me not.
I know, right? It's like so depressing, right? Things are going back to normal. Great.
Yeah, I feel like I'm venting for the first 90 seconds of this episode. But you know what? Maybe I had to get it out of the way because it's been a long hour rant. But of course, we are here. Always, you can hear all the stuff in the background, but you are here to hear us, and we are going to be talking about. I mean, we're pretty much closing the chapter on My Hero Academia season 2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
These are the last series of episodes. I think we still have the movie to talk about. Have you seen the movie yet?
No, I'm waiting. I wanted it to be fresh.
I'm trying to see. Is there a way? Let me see. Is there a way we can legitimately live watch the movie and talk about it while on the pod? But then again, I know I don't want to do that because I don't know when your personal tips of watching movies, do you rather be like, yo, everyone leave me alone, be quiet so I can pay attention to this movie? Or are you like, I'm down with everything? Like,
not something like this. Obviously if I'm at the movie theater, I mean, clearly, but when it comes to something like this, no, I'm open to it. I mean, I would love to just sit back and watch it. You know what I'm saying? Commentary as we watch.
It'll be great. Maybe that's something that we'll think about doing or something along those lines. But we have to do it. So we have to do it, and then after that,
Hulu pulled out the official party, right?
I mean, yeah, but then you have to be a Hulu. It's specifically only to Hulu members who have the no commercials Hulu subscription, right. Which may not be everybody. Everybody. So I don't particularly know. So I don't want to open the invite to everybody, and then it's like, okay, only 2 of us really watch manga on Hulu.
I get it.
So we'll see. Also, I don't think it's on Hulu. So
okay.
We'll have to find. We might have to coordinate pressing the play button and hope our internet holds up at the same time.
Right.
But with that said, I mean, we're back. Season 2, My Hero Academia. The final chapters. Last week, we went over Stain bodying people left and right.
Crazy shit, man.
But the kids can't body a set of kids. I mean, it is the biggest enemy of any villain in any cartoon or animated series. Children.
Children
forget
dying.
That he was a murderous, villainous thing who have killed multiple people and injured probably more. Kids. Of course, gets the best of him. Ida, Todoroki, Deku.
3-on-1 is a difficult situation.
It is. I think it is for any situation. I think if 3 kids ran up on me, I might have some trouble.
Yeah, I don't think I'm making it personally.
I might have some trouble, depending on especially if they're high schoolers. What? High schoolers? They're a different breed currently. I might get hit with a Jan Sport or some shit. Right. But with that said, I mean, so that series of episodes, I always said it pretty much changes the entire tone for the series moving forward. Yeah. It changes the entire tone for. The thing is, those episodes affect so much that goes on. It even affects this episode, even in terms of the finals, even in terms of the weird mall encounter, which is crazy to think of.
I feel like it was truly for My Hero. I think it was a true turning point as to the series being very, get into more of a dark realm. I think they kind of like toyed with let's twisting it up and it not being so I don't want to say like kid friendly or whatever because it's really not. But like that was like a very serious moment. I think Stain kind of took the series to a new level.
I think they kind of molded the worlds, but melded the worlds. It's not as black and white anymore. It's not heroes versus villains. It's not good guys versus bad guys anymore. But you find out that bad guys, that even the good people can sometimes relate to the bad guys for their convictions and their intentions and all this other stuff like that. They are banging and banging.
They're going hard.
But with that said, Deku is finally learning about the history for One for All. First of all, before we get into that, they have the little training class thing where it's like, okay, you've had your internships, you've been gone a week, time to get back to school. Let's see how you guys progress. So they're going to do a little race to see who can save All Might first. And everyone's like, oh, Cereal's gonna win. He has tapes in his elbows.
Right.
Obviously, he's
think swinging. Again.
Yeah, swinging is here. I mean, he wins. He does win. Fair enough. He does win. But everyone's like eager, like, okay, let's see what I proved. And Ida's in it, even though he's still injured and all this other stuff. But the one who surprises everybody is Deku. They're like, wait, Deku might have a hard time because every time he tries to use his power, he ends up blowing his limbs off. Wrong. Full cow. He's out here. He's jumping from building to building.
People are jealous, man.
Bakugo's big jealous. He's like, yo,
he took all that shit.
Those are my moves.
Yeah, he wasn't fucking with that shit. I mean, he has a point. I mean,
no, it was 100% his moves. It's like, yo, I'm the one who's used my quirk to bounce and repel and do all these things off buildings, and here you are jacking my steeds, stealing all my freshness, and now the ladies are swooning because they're like, oh my god, is that Deku? Is that Deku jumping from building to building like that?
You know what time it is.
Wow. That's crazy. Bakugo's Bakugo's just like tush, like the TCH.
TCH.
Big stealing my shit. So Bakugo's pretty pissed. He spent the last week trying on new fabrics while Deku's out here getting stronger, being stronger, beating villains, all this other stuff. So he feels a little bit left in the dust. Fair enough. But all of this is a prelude for All Might to be like, meet me after class. I have something to tell you. And I was like, that could have been a phone call or an email or a text or
man, it's too important. It's too important, man. Face to face. Face to face.
Meet me after class. I have something to tell you. So this episode, it's really a backstory episode. Are you a fan of these type of episodes? Because I am personally.
Yeah, I am. I think it's a good way to molt filler into something important, instead of it just being some bullshit that has nothing to do with nothing. I think they give you good information that you need.
Yeah, I think so. This is the first time, and it's interesting that it's coming at the end of season 2, right? Like usually a lot of shows, they're like, okay, we have to lay it out all on the line for you. You have to know the motivations, you have to know the history, you have to know the back things. My Hero Academia truly takes its time. There's still some things we don't know as of yet that will yet to be explained. I think a lot of this explanation, it's crazy because you learn about All for One here, and then you learn about like a lot more about and you learn about One for All and All for One and all the other stuff. You learn that backstory. And then there's the thing at the end where the mortality of All Might, and he doesn't really want to explain it. That doesn't really come into play until like season 4. Like we talk about it. They had similar episodes to this in season 4 where Deku's talking to All Might, and he finally kind of says like, yo, homeboy said I'm not gonna make it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Sir says I'm not gonna make it. His quirk said it. His quirk is pretty on point. They're doing a lot of really great pacing here, but the entire backstory of this is kind of us learning the true origins of All for One and One for All and the quirks. The story as it goes. Let's see if I can do the little abridged version of the story.
Yeah, let's see what you got, man.
Let's see. Okay. So when quirks first appeared, apparently society wilded out. They were like, what? Who are these mutants? These X-Men? There's a person who's a dog. There's a person who quirked a fly. There's a person. We can't deal with it. We need regulations on this. We can't have regular people floating around with these quirk people with these superpowers.
This is facts, though.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
Yes.
Eventually, a man comes through with the quirk of all quirks. He has a quirk. Can take people's quirks and give them to other people. It is legitimately the most hacking quirk ever.
Yeah, it's wild. Like just thinking about it, I understand why All Might was so like frigid about the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like it's such a huge thing. It's cool too.
Yeah, I think so as well. So he has it. He rose up in Japan. He's got people following him because he's given quirks and all this other stuff. He assumes the role, the name of All for One. Mm-hmm. What a cool name! Very
cool.
How the script?
I think if you're trying to like separate One for All for One, I just think it was perfect because if you had no background of this series going in and starting it, and then you found out like this is what the main, antagonist is called, like you're just like, holy shit, that's perfect for this.
Yeah. I mean, All for One. So he is the big bad, depending on who he is. He is giving people powers. And sometimes these powers would work out and they would evolve into like these superhumans or super quirk things. And then there are other people who bodies couldn't handle it and they were, left to a catatonic state, kind of similar to the Nomus. The Nomus who are pretty much like bio-engineered people who have quirks crammed into them, and the reason why they have no true real brain function is because their body can't handle all the quirks and their brain can't handle it all either.
It's very sinister, all of it.
All for One had a younger brother. Doesn't have a name yet, but will have a name pretty soon. He had a younger brother who was thought to be quirkless, but he was against everything that kind of his big brother All for One was doing. He was like, yo, I'm not with it. I'm just not. You're doing this. Why are you wilding out like this? You're abusing your power for power, essentially. And he was not with it. He was a quirkless weirdo. So it's like, who are you? Who are you to tell me, the man with no quirk, how to use my quirk? Right. Later, revealed, boom, he has a quirk. But he doesn't learn it until All for One gives him a quirk in order to stockpile power. So All for One gives the little brother the quirk to stockpile power. That's kind of the strength of where All Might is, and also the kind of like stockpile power thing, the 5%, 10%, 20%.
Right.
So he has that quirk. But little did they know that the quirkless brother was not quirkless at all. Surprise, he actually had the power to pass down quirks from person to person. Kind of like All for One.
Keep up, guys. No. I mean, I mean it. Like when they're explaining it on the anime, it is like it's a lot to kind of like keep up with to see what they're actually trying to tell you.
From here on out, that person, the younger brother, would now be called Boom 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 One for All. Fast forward to several generations later. As they pass this quirk on to several people, spoiler alert, there's multiple users of said quirk who've all at some point tried to defeat All for One, but was not worthy enough until they reach All Might. All Might defeated All for One. Mm-hmm. He defeated him. Didn't kill him, but defeated him. Yeah. I don't know if he thought he killed him. I personally would love a All Might backstory leading up to this battle. Yeah. I think it would be the perfect movie. I think it would be the perfect special. I think it would be the perfect arc. I think if you're really trying to sell big tickets for this thing, you do this.
That's honestly, man, I would love an arc where they go back to, Eraserhead's high school days. Like I want to see something like that. Like, I would love that.
They play a little bit in the manga. They have the My Hero Academia Vigilantes kind of like side where they do all the little side stuff. So I think there is a side stuff with Aizawa and President Mike's high school days. So they do a little thing like that because, My Hero Academia, multiple universes. That's why I don't think the show will be over pretty soon. You can do
I feel like this shit's going to stretch for a while.
Bad news. Just a bad thing. It's kind of like, remember when Goku didn't kill Frieza, and then Frieza comes back and tries to destroy the Earth?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
You should have killed Frieza. Like, you shouldn't have you know, you should have made sure that he was dead. He was like, but I thought he was on an exploding planet. I was like, but he's Frieza. Like, relax. Like,
right. Use your
if a spirit
head.
bomb isn't killing him, you think a planet explosion is going to kill him?
Right. So, come on, man.
But so All for One isn't dead. Now, currently, All for One is hooked up to a PC, getting his firmware updated. So he's able to go into battle once again. And pretty much what All Might has learned is that All for One and the League of Villains are in cahoots. What we know is that All for One is grooming Tomura Shigaraki to become the next holder of All for One, which is something incredibly unprecedented. Something because All for One has existed for multiple, you know, he has a quirk. Apparently, it feels like it's immortality or something where he's able to live forever, but he has a quirk that lets him pass through time. So, but he has never, I don't think at this point he's ever given up the quirk for good.
No,
he's never given it to a person. So this is, and I'm sure he's had people over the years where he's like, you know, he's gone through, he's checked them out, he's decided whether they're worthy or not, and they proved not to be worthy. He deems Tomura Shigaraki as worthy. That is why the League of Villains and All for One, they're working together. All for One is training Tomura Shigaraki. Fast forward, if you're in the manga right now, whew, boy. The one thing that All Might won't discuss is like, damn, by the time this battle comes between you and All for One, I may not be around.
Deep, nigga. This is why this conversation had to be private. Couldn't have been over text. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have hit the same. It wouldn't have hit the same.
Just at LOL. Just
right,
lowercase
right.
LOL.
Oh, LOL.
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna fight them together, right? LOL.
Not quite.
Yeah, total. G2G.
Yeah, this hits different, man, over text. This had to happen in person.
Yeah. Everything is kind of, they're building up to these two generations of worlds. It's All Might and All for One, which is end up building up to this great battle in season 3, and then we'll end up evolving to the next generation of these heroes consistently fighting forever to, you know, protect the people of Japan at this point. But you know what? All of this will have to, you know, be to the side for right now, because guess what? These kids, they have final exams. Final exams.
Yeah. After everything that's going on, everything that they've dealt with, they still got school.
The students are stressing out about finals. They're like, there's a sect of students who are like, we are stupid and we need to figure this out, which is real. Quite honestly, I've been in those situations where it's like, yo, it's final season. I really don't know what's going on. And they still have to learn like math and stuff, which is crazy. It's like the written test and all. It's not like I'm learning hero stuff 24/7. They're still learning basic math. They're still learning quadratic equations. They're still learning
all that regular shit.
I love Yaoyorozu just being rich and just no, I'll help you. And it's like, oh wow, I didn't know she was living like this. Living large.
She living a life.
Listen, she out here. Love that little part of it. Everyone thinks the final exam is about to be against giant robots because obviously they inquired from past years, and they were like, which is something again I have done. I've done it in college. I've seen people who've taken the class and be like, "What's on the exam? Oh, this is the end of third. You want the file? Gucci. Okay,
appreciate
it's going to
that.
be against giant robots. Yeah, it's going to be against giant robots. It's, oh, turn up. Giant robots we fought in the entrance exam. Oh, we killing them. Teacher said, nah. The teachers are not having this. Teacher says, due to the massive threat of villains, due to the popular, you know, villains are becoming popular, Stain's ideology is becoming popular. We need to end up training these kids in a much more fruitful way that will allow them to stimulate a lot more real combat. So you end up making these real life decisions. We need to put you in your sort of, put you against your weaknesses.
They got to speed them up, man. Yeah, they got to speed up the situation. Shit's getting crazy.
Shit's getting crazy. USJ attacks out here. The kids are out here fighting, stuff like that. You just had Todoroki, Deku, and Ida fighting villains. There's like, obviously these kids are scrapping and mixing it up. We cannot have the same old beat up the robots type of deal. Todoroki's just going to one-shot them. It's not even worth it at this point. So they decide what we're going to do is we're going to put the teachers against the students.
Yeah.
A very original concept. I love this.
Yeah, I was
love
excited.
Everything about it.
I was excited to hear
it. Especially because it's kind of your first taste to get to know the staff of UA.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go through the lineup one by one. Not all of them particularly long. I think we'll spend some time on some of them. Other times we'll just go through it. But the first one is Kirishima and Sato versus Cementos. Now, all these teachers are here to pray against the disadvantage that their student has.
Of course.
Of course, I am looking at the Boku no Hero Academia fandom page to find out what disadvantage they were, because I wasn't completely sure, but here we are. But this is why research is here. So the disadvantage that Kirishima and Sato both have is Cementos doesn't have a time limit like Hardening or Sugar Rush. So they have to overcome their time limit of their quirks against this guy and figure out how to beat him. The rules are as follows with the students and teachers. You can either handcuff the teachers or you can race past out and escape. It's either you capture the teachers or you escape. Teachers will be wearing wristbands that are about half their weight, so they will not be able to move as quickly, so they're generally handicapped. And I think the teachers don't want to kill the students anyway, so they're just handicapping themselves.
Of course.
But Kirishima and Sato, they're the first ones to go, and they are the first ones to fail. Didn't have a plan at all.
No, but I wasn't surprised by it.
Me neither. First of all, Kirishima, I mean, at this point, Kirishima hasn't really truly evolved and got to the next level. He does eventually, but he hasn't at this point. And Cementos is just, my man warps cement.
He's pretty OP, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, my man is defense and potentially offense. So they lose. Next one up is Asobi and Tokoyami versus the teacher known as Ectoplasm. Ectoplasm can make a ton of clones of himself. That is his quirk. He makes clones.
Awesome design.
It's incredible.
So
it's cool. Tokoyami who was weak in this point because he's weak in close range combat because of Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow is really long range type of deal. He doesn't really get into fist fights nor the fisticuffs. And I'm not actually sure what Asobi's weakness is. She's pretty well rounded. But she provides the support, she provides ideas, she provides the calmness, the self-esteem. She manages to get them back in the game, even though it seems like they've been captured. Asobi, MVP. She just is.
Yeah, she's just so good, man.
She's just good. Shout out to Froggy.
You already know how I feel, man. You already know how I feel. I love Froggy.
They pass, so shout out to them. The next one up is Tenya. And Tenya Ida Ojiro versus Power Loader. Power Loader is, if you have not seen him before, he is essentially the head of the support course, but he has a quirk that kind of manipulates the ground, like you can, break up the ground or anything like that, which, for Tenya Ida, who needs to run all the time, it could become quite troublesome. And Ojiro, he's a little bit mobile as well, so that's always messing him up. They managed to pass. They're getting busy. I think Tenya Ida, I think he just became stronger from that battle with Stain.
Definitely.
Just in terms of mindset.
His whole resolve has changed.
Yeah, so he's able to pass through, and shout out to guy Tailman, as he'd like to be called.
Tailman.
It's just a bad name.
It doesn't work.
But I'm judging by his hero costume, which is a karate judo costume that he's got hands. So
he definitely has hands. He definitely has hands.
Easy. And tail.
Remember when he tried to downplay fighting all those villains in season 1?
Oh yeah.
Remember when he tried to downplay that? I was like, bro, you kick their ass.
It was a whole Power Ranger over there.
Yeah, I know. He was balling.
Let's get to this one. This one, to me, probably one of the most notable. Obviously, they dedicated more than half the episode to it. Is Aizawa versus Todoroki and Yayorozu. Both of them who were based on recommendations, but Yayorozu confidence diminished from the tournament. She got ousted pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
it's just like, I just don't know how I'm going to be able to do this in terms of a practical thing. And, you know, they wanted to get Todoroki's over reliance on his half hot, half, cold quirk. He was like, oh, you just make things. So here's what I'm going to do. Aizawa, Eraserhead, whose power is I eliminate all quirks. I'm going to eliminate your quirks. So you guys don't have the over reliance on any of them. So you guys have to legitimately figure it out.
It sucks.
I like this little exchange. I like this.
I mean, yeah, it's awesome, but it's like, damn, man. I gotta do what I gotta do.
I love Yaoyorozu getting her confidence back, and Todoroki kind of realizing that he kind of has to depend on others as well. It's kind of a very stark change from the beginning of the series. I really think that battle with Deku, the talk with his mom, a lot of things have changed for Todoroki towards the end of the season, because normally he would just be like, I'm going to ice them to death, and everyone just run across the thing.
It's like, bro, he's like, they say it throughout the show, he's so dependent on his quirk.
At some point, Todoroki gets hung up in a tree, and it was like, maybe I should have asked her how she felt.
Yeah, you think, man?
Maybe I should have. So now he says, like, first of all, Aizawa's wallet. He threw the spikes on the bottom too. Set the
like if you fall, you're gonna fucking mankind.
Yeah, use your quirk if you want to.
Right.
And I was like, damn, this is just a test, man. You really trying to kill. Whereas now he tasks Yaoyorozu, who manages to get away, task her with a say, like, yo, come up with an idea. And she comes up with an idea because she's a pretty smart cookie, to be honest with you. She's one of the best thinkers in the class. She's one of the best students in the class. She's probably at the top. She comes up with this idea, several ideas. First of all, to escape and how to get away from that, and also to combat Aizawa's pretty much ability, which they take advantage of because they know that Aizawa is still kind of messed up from the USJ attack. Mm-hmm. So they take advantage of the fact that he can't completely see all the time, even though Aizawa has the little eye drops thing. And they wrap him up in his own thing, and they manage to escape. They do a great job. Both of them pass. Shout out to
Do you know what happens if you heat this? I'm like, it turned into Dr. Stone for like a quick second.
Yeah, it was like, what? And then it just wraps him up. I was like, wow. Didn't see that coming.
It was pretty cool.
But, a genius like Yaoyorozu would know all these elements and materials. You have to be smart to know all of these things about all the materials.
She's awesome, man. She's awesome. Yeah. One of my favorite characters.
Next one is 13, who, if you remember from the USJ attacks, got completely
blasted, son.
Like whole face off. Like
my girl was like, yo, is 13 alive? Like the back was just blown out. How can you piece that back together?
I don't even know, but she's back, she's cooking, she's out here, she's against Uraraka and Aoyama, which there's a notable moment. They're being blown away where Aoyama's like, do you like Deku? And she's like,
what do you mean?
But well, do you like Deku? I don't know. I mean, I just like the fact that they're continuing to make Uraraka strong. I don't like the over dependence on like, oh, your Deku's like love interest type of thing.
I'm with you, dude. Like she has her own thing and it works, and it's not like just because her and Deku have this weird, pre-relationship thing going on. It's like she's actually formidable on her own.
Yeah, 100%. But that becomes a large thing towards the end of the season. I mean, it's referenced multiple times throughout this episode. But Aoyama and Uraraka, they managed to pass. They managed to get through. The next one up is, let's see, Ashido and Kaminari versus Principal Nezu. Who knew Principal Nezu was a nut?
Yeah, this guy's fucking insane. So I wanted to ask you this because you may be able to answer this better for me, because it's just one thing that I've been struggling with, which is these animal-like creatures. Now,
okay.
So are these animals who also got quirks, or were these people who got quirks that turned them into animals?
I think they're people who got quirks that turn them into animals.
So like the captain of the police is like a dog. Woof.
But actually, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's the case with Principal Nezu. I think
because he says something on the lines of like, "I'm smarter than a human," or like he says it as if he's never.
He's a lab rat. He's He's Let's see. That's a good question.
You know what you know what I mean. I figured maybe you would know. I'm not sure. I just thought it was like I've been seeing these weird animals, and I'm not sure if the quirk is what turned them into an animal, or if they're just naturally, or if these specific animals got quirks.
So I'm according to pretty much let's see this fandom page. It says Nezu is a stout man. So I'm assuming he's a man who just happens to be a mouse. He looks like a lab rat, but they've done a lot of tests on him, and he has the first sentence. He is the extremely rare case of an animal who manifested a quirk.
Wow. See? That's what I was trying to figure out, bro.
Huh. Okay.
It threw me off. So there are animals who have gotten quirks.
Very rare cases. Extremely rare cases. Who knew an animal would manifest a quirk and go on to become the principal of a very prestigious high school?
Very interesting. Well, all right. There's my answer. He made it all the way to the top, man. A lab rat.
So he's out here. Obviously, his quirk is I'm a super genius. Actually, let me see. His quirk is called High Spec. Nezu's quirk grants him a high level of intelligence that surpasses humans. Nezu's quirk enables him to live freely like a normal person despite being an animal. So he has his quirk High Spec. He's a genius. He's he's doing calculations in his head to stop the students while they're there. No surprise. Ashido and Kaminari, their weaknesses is that they're both dumb and don't have control of their quirks, pretty much to say. So both of them fail. They're unable to defeat Principal Nezu. Fair enough. Next one, Earphone Jack, and what's his name? Koda versus Present Mike. It's interesting. It's a bug thing. You managed to get it on the line. I'll say that. I love. Don't get me wrong. We're breezing through these, but I love all these battles. But
yeah, they're all cool on their own. I feel like it's crazy how
a little taste of the character.
Yeah, because although this character has been a part of the show, from the beginning, it's like they didn't really tell you too much, about him.
Right, of course not.
So I like it. It was cool.
Didn't even know Koda talked.
No
one did.
This is the first time.
No
right?
one did. Yeah, no one did. Where he's talking to the little bugs. He's like, "Come on, little critters!" And it was like, "Oh, because bugs apparently sound doesn't travel underground. Who knew? Not the people from outside. I'll tell you that because they've been digging underground, and I've been hearing all about it." So Earphone Jack. I mean, not Earphone Jack. Present Mike is defeated by bugs. Next one is Snipe versus Shoji and Hagakure, Invisible Girl. Snipe seems cool, but then he gets tripped up by accidentally touching Hagakure in a weird spot because she's invisible and he doesn't know. And he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, fair. She's invisible.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
I didn't even know. Yeah, it's not your fault at all. Don't write him up. Let's see. The next one is Mineta and Mineta and Sero versus Midnight. Of course, Mineta has to overcome his perviness, but Sero does not have a great time. It's actually the rare case where one of them passes and one of them fails, because Sero does fail after being, pretty much immobilized almost instantly. Whereas Mineta is the one who has to use his own power and his own quirks and his own thinking. And it was like, I came a hero to be cool, but now
just want some ass. That's all he wants, man. That's all he wants, dude.
I just came to be cool. I didn't know that. That being a hero was such a thing, but he thinks of the moment. He thinks of what he has to do. He wraps tape around his thing so he isn't affected by Midnight's quirk. and he does his, he has Grape Rush, which
He's
is
actually a
pretty
pretty
much,
good thinker when he calms the fuck down. We've seen it
yeah,
happen. Like,
yeah. You know what? He's a nerd, but he's a perv. Fair.
yeah, yeah.
Seen it many times. Seen it many times. But he uses Grape Rush. He manages to get through, and he manages to pass. And unfortunately, Cero fails. While they both essentially do pass, the point, Cero fails because he didn't do a good job or much of anything. And then, of course, that leads to the main event. Whoa, who could have seen this? Bakugo and Deku
Right, of course.
have to face All Might.
Oh, who do you think? Yeah, of course, All Might.
All Might is not playing around.
No,
All Might
he's really playing the role right here.
Yeah, he is like, oh, I think at some point he breaks Deku's back. He's like slamming Bakugo down in his face. Bakugo's pointing up to him and like blasting fire in his face and shit and all this
damage from moves in this anime, it's really hard to calculate.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you would think some of the things that happen to these kids, or not even them, but the villains, would truly leave them dead.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right. Bakugo and Deku versus All Might. It's pretty much like, listen, you both look up to him, but you have to whoop his ass, and because he's going 110% or maybe 100% towards you. So they're getting a lot of fights. Deku and Bakugo can't get along. I don't even know why they put them together. If you wanted to get Bakugo and get along with someone, put him with someone else. I don't even know. He's not going to get along with Deku.
He's just not. He's just not. That was my thing too. I understand what they did it from like a story perspective, but even after this, the whole issue between them not getting along just doesn't fix that at all. So I don't know.
Bruh, I'm looking at a GIF now. All Might like runs a fence into Deku's back and then punches Bakugo in the stomach, and vomit just comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
He went hard. But they also went hard. I mean, at this point, they were determined. At least Deku was determined. I think Bakugo was said pretty much go, just go and run. I'll hold him off. Chances are you'll make it. Deku says no. We are both passing. F this, and manages to come in. Uses his all for one to punch All Might in the face. All Might's like, oof. And I don't know if his quirk is running out. He's spitting up blood. So Bakugo and Deku end up passing. They end up defeating All Might. It is the end. Majority, almost everyone passes the exam. The thing was, if you pass the exam, you're able to go on the camping trip, which is going to be season 3. And if you didn't pass, you weren't going to be able to go until Aizawa at the end reveals everyone is going. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, he's done this before. Let's keep in mind.
So Vegeta was like, don't you think our trust is going to...
Yeah, season 1, I'm going to expel one person after today, and then, of course...
never mind. Yeah, I just did it to make sure you guys fought as hard as you can. And which Tenya Ito was like, don't you think this mistrust will further hinder our trust in you? And he was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Some real shit,
I'm
man.
your teacher. So Sero, Kaminari, Ishido, Sata, and Kirishima all fail. They will go to the camp, but also have to take extra classes, which will be harder than the classes that they would have to take at the camp to catch up.
That sucks.
To everybody else. Summer school is a bitch. Let's slide over to the villains. Let's get a little villain action.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah. Stain's gone, but
Stain's in prison.
Shigaraki's tight because that's who everyone's talking about, the new hotness. They're not talking about the Nomu that came and wreaked havoc over Hosu City. They're talking about Stain and his ideologies, and it's like, I hate him so damn much.
He annoys me.
But the entire reason for this was to recruit new people. Now they have, I guess, who would you call it? Someone who recruit? Is it an agent at this point?
I mean, yeah, it is a form of an agent. Absolutely.
Jiro, who shows up, he is a villain who kind of like leads them the way. He's managed to get them support items. He managed to get them people. He brings 2 strapping young, people to Shigaraki. one by the name of Himiko Toga.
Mm-hmm.
Toga. How do you feel about
her? I think she's incredible. My favorite villain thus far that I've seen. She's like my type of bad guy. Although she has moments where you're like, she's kind of lovable, but then like that completely goes out the window once you understand the way that she is. So
she's a sadist. She's a masochist. She loves all of it. She loves violence. She's like, yo, I love violence. And her quirk is incredible. She steals the blood of whoever she steals. You know, if she steals your blood, she can transform into you.
Mm-hmm.
A dangerous quirk.
Very dangerous.
Hasn't been revealed yet, but I'm telling you now, I don't care. The next one is Dabi. I like his look.
Great design.
I like his look.
Great design, dude. Amazing. They knocked that shit out the park. I mean, Toga as well, but yeah, the design is really, really good.
Dabi, cool. Just cool for no reason. Man walks in, hands in his pockets. Yeah. What's your name? They refer to me as Dabi. I want to know your real name. I'll tell you my real name when it comes time to Dabi, fire quirk. It's kind of like Endeavor's, except the fire's blue. Everyone has been saying Dabi is the son of Endeavor. Do you feel like this is something that may be coming up?
I will say that if so, I think that would be an awesome twist. I mean, visually, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it's not like they have like visually aesthetics, like their aesthetics aren't the same besides the actual quirk. I mean, it'd be awesome if it was. I wouldn't be mad at it. Let's just say that. Like, I think it'd be a dope like plot twist.
Right, because Endeavor supposedly has a son that passed away, and people are saying now this is Dabi. This is Dabi in the flesh. There's been some hint, especially in later chapters and stuff, that Dabi has some sort of relation to someone in the series.
Really,
there's been, just because of his anonymity. Like they haven't revealed his name yet. No one has been able to find out anything about him. Yeah, so Dabi,
so basically, we're gonna get Todoroki versus Dabi at some point.
I think at some point, yes, for sure.
right,
for sure. So both are influenced by the hero killer. They come in on their hero killing high horse. They're like, oh, we just love Stain. Like, don't you love Stain?
I mean, if I lived in this world, you know what I'm saying, and I watched that video, I would be questioning some things myself. So
he was like, oh, we're just following Stain's, theories and ideologies. Like, we just love Stain. Like, and we heard he was working with you, so we came by because we thought Stain was gonna be here. Like, we thought you were down with Stain too. To which Shigaraki is like, get them out of my face. Shigaraki tries to respond with violence. They also try to respond with violence.
Yes.
Kurogiri decides to warp, and he is like, I think you should consider this. They seem like they want to help. Shigaraki's like, no, eat shit.
Of course.
He goes out, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to go out, and I'm going to take a walk, take a smoke. I don't know what he's doing. He's like, I'm out of here. Fuck this. And I assume Kurogiri just decides, like, yo, I guess we'll start the orientation without him. I don't know.
No, that's exactly what happened. Like, villain orientation is like, all right, you know what? Let's get this shit on the road, right? Let's
get it on the road. Let's get your W-2s and let's figure out how we're gonna.
What's your social? Look at their base, okay? First of all, look at the.
Yes.
You think this man, he doesn't want to go out every once in a while, just enjoy life? I feel like this is why I told you I would probably be a villain, man. At the end of the day, they got a life too, man. They got a life too. They want to go out. They want to enjoy themselves. They're not just always thinking about killing All Might. So he went to the mall, and I think he just so happened to run into Deku.
Listen, I think, obviously, he just so happened. I don't know if he was going to the mall. He ended up at the mall. I don't know where he was going to. He was just on a walk. He looks pretty suspicious. But then again, everyone in this world has quirks. Who doesn't look suspicious? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The kids are also going to the mall because they're like, oh, we need summer camp stuff like shoes and socks and
we need shit.
Graphic tees and shit like that. So once again, everyone's like, "Oh, we'll split up and we meet up at 3." Have you ever gone to a mall? Have you done a mall thing like this, like with a group of people and like, "Yo, we're gonna split up and meet up at the"? I've never done that.
No, if I did hit the mall with like friends or whatever, we were never
We
splitting
all go
up.
to the same place.
Yeah, we were never splitting up.
Yo,
But
go
you know,
here, you
whatever.
go here. Let's meet up at 5:00.
Yeah, no, that never ever happened. But again, I also haven't like explored the mall and since I was a young sprout, so you know.
Yeah, same. Well, listen, Atlanta's got I heard it's got a great mall, Lenox Mall.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this
Lennox
is just
is
what I
out
hear.
here. Lennox is out here.
Shigaraki asks Koi. He was like, "Oh, you're from the sports festival. Oh, you're that kid. It's great to meet you again." And then Deku realizes, "Oh shit, it's Tomura Shigaraki." And Shigaraki, he sits down at the fountain with thing, and he has his fingers around his neck. He's like, "I put this one finger there, your neck,
right.
all together." Shigaraki goes to the mall. I don't know if he decided he was going to go to the mall. I don't know if he was looking.
Yeah, he had some shit to get, man. The 12s might have came out, something came out, man. He had to run to the mall right quick, man. Look, it's like
turns into giblets. Like, so you need to relax.
Just chill out. I gotta talk to you about some shit. Don't move.
This is a frightening situation, by the way.
Hell yeah, dude. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, dog?
I would be frightened. So Deku asks Shigaraki, like, "Yo, why are people friggin' obsessed with the hero killer? Why are they obsessed with everything? Like, I'm a villain too, and I've done terrible things." And Deku pretty much tells Shigaraki about himself. He's like,
Deku was like, "Look, man, Stain's kind of cool, bro. I don't know if you noticed."
He has way more cool elements. He has a philosophy that people like. He has a philosophy that people relate to, whereas you're just petty.
You're weird,
thug.
Man. You're always scratching your neck until it bleeds.
Yeah,
it's like you're just a strange guy.
You just do bad stuff for bad stuff. Like you're
Can you not see
than any other villains? Like,
look at him.
Stain has an ideology. Stain has purpose, motivation that people actually relate to and actually can kind of see. And you just do bad things for the sake of bad things. And Shigaraki's like, "You son of a bitch."
That makes sense. You're right.
Yes. But he comes to the conclusion that the reason why he links the entire reason why people are able to feel safe and why Stain is doing everything he did. He's like, "Oh, it's All Might.
Yeah.
I just have to kill All Might."
Getting to this, like,
All Might.
I don't even know how he got to that like conclusion through what they spoke about, but just say you want to kill All Might. Keep it pushing. It's like he needed a reason.
Yeah, he needed a reason to kill All Might. Now, I don't think he's strong enough to kill All Might. I think All Might would put him on smash.
Yeah, it'd be a wrap.
But the awkward moment comes when Ochaka walks up and it's like, "Deku, is this your friend?" Which Deku's eyes is screaming, "Run, bitch, run!"
Yes. Well,
call the police.
Here,
Call the police. Whereas then, Shigaraki plays it cool. "Oh, I didn't know you were with a friend. Okay.
We'll see you later. We'll talk
follow
later.
Me, I'll kill everybody."
Dog, that's exactly how it happened.
The last thing he asks, Deku asks, "What is All for One after?" And Shigaraki says, "Who knows? But likely the next time you'll meet, I'll have to kill you."
Yeah.
And that is where it ends. I mean, there's a whole detective thing. The police show up. They shut down the mall. They do all the responsible stuff that shows. And
Deku snitched. That's what happened. I might have let that conversation go. I'm not sure if I would have told anybody.
You wouldn't have told the police?
I think so.
Probably. I think Uraraka is the one who called the police.
Because in that situation, it's like, I mean, yes, as scary as it was still a harmless situation. Like, I mean, he could have did what he said he was going to do. It was. I mean, he didn't do anything. He pulled up. He did choke him out a little bit.
Not yet.
He was like, "Yo, I could."
He had that energy.
He did have the energy, but it was also like, I think Deku knew he wasn't about to cause that type of scene in that situation at that moment. Like he got some shit off his chest. He let him talk. He left. Mm-hmm. He went to go pick up his sneakers, and he went back to the bar.
Sneakers, okay.
That was the end of it. New hands.
Mind you, I think also the weird part is I think Shigaraki and Deku wear the same sneakers.
Yeah. Well,
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean that ends season 2. It ends on a very creepy, very sinister note of Shigaraki pretty much kidnapping Deku for a brief moment and letting him know of all the things he's going to do. You know, villain shit. Letting you know all the things I'm about to do before I do it, so you guys will be able to stop me when I do it. Standard villain procedure.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you my plans. Get ready.
So that's the end of season 2. The season 2 really kind of ends with All For One being like he's grooming Shigaraki to become his next successor, and pretty much like, well, maybe I'll make an appearance in season 3. That's kind of what he says. Maybe I'll make an appearance in season 3. Maybe I'll, you know, I think he says something like, I think it's better if you talk to them. And then All For One's like, well, get me ready then. Turn me up, gas me up. I need to be out here.
Let's get it
in these streets. So, you know, prelude for season 3, but that is the end of season 2 of My Hero Academia. Wow. So much stuff happened.
Yeah, so much. It's a really, really good season, especially, you know, obviously you and I both watched 3 and 4 and read a little bit past that. And like my whole thing was looking back at it, I just feel like season 2 is so special. Like I just think it's a very, very like special season because a lot of things happen. It's about 3 arcs in one, you know, and it's a really good season. I think if you're trying to get somebody into this, I know season 1 it's a bit strange. It's a little different to get through, but once you get through it and you get to season 2, it's incredible.
I agree. I think season 2, I think all seasons kind of have their place where they contribute something and continue building towards the series in terms of everything that we're building towards. And season 2 had a lot of that. Season 2, we get Deku kind of learning how to use his powers, which is very, very important. It's probably the most important thing because it kind of establishes the base of how he's going to be for the rest of the series. He's going to ascend to the next level. He's going to use 5%, then he's going to use 8%, then he's going to use 20%, and eventually he does get up to 45% thus far. But he's going to do that. The second thing it also established, what are the motivations of the League of Villains? Like, what are we really doing here? Are we petty thugs? Are we people who just want world domination? Or is there something more that's under, you know, the tank? Another thing established, One for All. Yeah. We didn't know much about, All For One. We didn't know much about All For One thus far. We just know that All Might had a battle. He got fucked up pretty bad against, you know, a villain, and that's kind of all it is.
And he wanted to keep it secret. He wanted to keep it extremely private.
Yeah, but now we learn about All For One, and I think also the season is also very important because we learn a lot more about the other students in Class 1A.
Yeah,
which is very important to kind of establish it. The season establishes society more than anything. It shows you. Season 1 was a lot more about the class, about word development, about more of the school, and a lot more of Deku. This kind of establishes society and everything that relates to everything, you know, surrounding quirks and One For All and Deku and students and all this other stuff. It's much more of a bigger society-esque type season. So that is why I love it. Gosh, okay. So we're going to do the movie next episode. We're going to do the movie. And then after that,
what do the people want, man? What do the people want, man?
Well, here's the thing. That's a good question. What do the people want?
What do the people want?
You know what? We'll revisit that question next episode. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 62 of The Lookout.
Yes.
You can follow us at The Lookout RNC on Twitter. You can follow us at RNC Radio Live on Twitter. You can follow myself at Meelz TV. You can follow Jeff at Old Newsboy if you want to talk anime or anything of the rather.
We're there.
Just continue to follow the Lookout brand. We will be if you're listening to this, make sure you also go listen to the Mount Silver podcast that came out earlier this week. Should have came out yesterday on the Isle of Armor. So you have that to look forward to. And then of course you have, you know, Big Eyes podcast later on in the week. So yeah, you got so much stuff to listen to, so much stuff to talk about, so much content on The Lookout. Make sure you stay tuned, stay ready, stay blessed. We will see you guys next time.